Welcome to another episode of the Laredo Border Chronicles, sponsored by 24/7 Laredo. This is a free, original, independent news site that talks about issues affecting the border here in the Rio Grande. Hi, I'm your host, Jesus Trigarza. Please like us on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube page so you can keep up with the latest shows. As you know, we'll be running this ongoing shows all the way through the March election. So I would urge you to, check it out on YouTube or on Facebook so you can catch all of them. Most of them will be on Thursdays, of course. I want to make a special thanks to the Modern Woodman Financial Services, Suarez Business Management Company, and the Webb County Sheriff's Office who are sponsoring this particular show. We are expecting to be on doing it on a weekly basis. If you are running for office, feel free to contact us. We'll put you on. Or if you have some issues that you think it's important for our community, please let us know so we can put you on as well. Today we have a very special guest. We do have Mark Montemayor, who's a Webb County attorney. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. Thank you.
Morning. No, thank you for coming. We kind of late notice because I know that the holidays came in and you were pretty busy. You've been busy pretty much this last couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Definitely have.
But I appreciate you making it. It's important that people get to see the candidate other than the posters out there and be able to ask them a few questions so they'll know who they are.
I agree.
But I appreciate you making it now. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Webb County Attorney's Office do?
Definitely. Thank you for having me, and good morning to everybody. The Webb County Attorney's Office, we're charged with prosecuting juvenile cases, handling all CPS cases within Webb County, mental health cases as well in Webb County, and there's other statutes that charge me with certain duties depending on the situations. So there's statutes out there that also give me additional duties, and we do have some civil representation for the state of Texas as well, right, in limited situations. Yes. So that's by law what we're charged with. Right. So that's what we focus on a daily basis.
Now you've been a county attorney for how many years?
I'm starting my 12th year, which is my third term.
So you're pretty familiar with the ins and the outs of the county attorney's office and the services that they provide.
Definitely.
Well, one of the issues that I want the public to be aware of, and I think it's a very serious issue, the issue of mental health in our community. As you know, we went through the pandemic. We live on the border, and whether we like it or not, there's a lot of activity next door across the river that some people are having some difficulty dealing with in terms of the continual information that we hear from across the border, including the immigration swan. And there's some PTSD as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not a psychologist, of course. But there are people out there who are concerned about their mental health, or people from the family. Explain to me how the mental health system works in Laredo.
Okay. Well,
because you're the prosecutor.
Definitely. As you said, there is a lot of issues with mental health. I think that it's always existed. I think it's only within the last few years that it's become more. It's okay now to speak out about it, whereas before people were stigmatized. So I think we had to get over that hurdle, and we're doing a good job of getting over that hurdle of the stigmatization of mental health issues, and I think that the pandemic did exacerbate a lot of yes, the mental health problems, and so unfortunately it exists everywhere. Yes. My concern and my focus is our community here in Webb County, and we handle the mental health cases. In years past, everything was done out of Webb County, from the court system, the cases being handled with the courts, to even the services being provided, the inpatient care if needed, would be all done here. Unfortunately, over the last 10 years, things have changed. Funding isn't there.
The legislature came in and decided to put more pressure on the local,
exactly,
and not to take him out of town anymore.
Exactly, and unfortunately, we rely on a lot of partners. MHMR, Border Region, and so they had some issues as far as being able to do the services here, right, inpatient. So now everything's being sent off to San Antonio. The initial diagnosis, the initial appointment, and with meeting with the doctor is all done here, and that's through my office usually. Right. It can be done through a crisis, if there's some a 911 call to PD, right, and they're in crisis, then that's done directly through the.
But if I have a family member, for example, if I have a family member who has mental health issues, and I believe he or she's a danger to themselves or to the rest of the family, where do I go first? Where do I file an application? Where do I do?
And that's the key. A danger to themselves or to others. That's what needs to be shown. The evidence and conduct has to establish that. You come to my office, okay, and you can come to our office. You talk to the individuals that are assigned to this, and our counselors, and they will take your information. You have to fill out some paperwork, an affidavit. You have to sign an affidavit because all this has to be sworn to. This is evidence. And we review it. An attorney reviews it in my case.
And what's interesting is that this is one of those few laws in the state of Texas, or in the state of Texas, where a person can file an application and really passing through this process of possibly committing them in a mental health facility.
Correct, and
so it's a very serious step to take.
You are right. It is very serious, and we don't take it lightly. So we review every application. An attorney reviews it to determine is there an actual danger or not, and if there is, then we'll continue on with the process, getting them an appointment with MHMR to be evaluated by the doctor.
So you would get them an appointment with MHMR.
Yes, sir.
A professional.
Yes, sir. We schedule that usually, as soon as possible. It could take, by the next day or within the next few days. Yes. We coordinate it with the courts. Obviously, all paperwork needs to be submitted to the court for judge's approval and signature. Assuming all that works out, obviously, we don't control what the judge determines.
What the judges do, right.
But we submit everything. Once we've reviewed it and have everything, we submit it to the court, to the judge for his review and or her approval. And if it's approved, we get the paperwork. And then we work closely with the sheriff's office in order to have these individuals transported.
And of course, then they go before the judge, and the judge makes that ultimate decision.
Yeah, if need be.
Based on your recommendation.
Right. If need be, at the initial consultation, they will be taken. If the doctor makes a determination there is some inpatient care, well, then they will be sent off to be treated at in San Antonio.
And of course, some of these patients actually understand that they're mentally ill. And so they themselves voluntarily agree, so you don't have to go to court or anything like that. You help them with the services.
Correct, and that's very possible too. If somebody voluntarily, then that's great.
Right.
That somebody, it's few and far between, but definitely if somebody is willing to take that step, that's a big step in the recovery process.
People need to understand the seriousness of one person filing an application saying you're mentally ill and possibly you're a danger to yourself or to others. Those are very serious allegations to make. And so, there is a judicial process and there is a prosecutorial process that you got to be able to meet to be able to put him in a mental health facility.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So there is a process.
Yes, and they can reach out to my office and, if they need that service.
Who are the partners or who are the people who you work with in terms of this process?
We'll work closely with LPD and their crisis center because a lot of times they get those calls. We work with the sheriff's office. We work with MHMR. We work with the courts. Some of the social service organizations, SCAN, Pillar, that provide those counseling services because a lot of times they've already had some contact with these individuals. So, and then obviously working with the family members or whoever relatives that have provided the information or have the concerns. So we kind of work with everybody that has a hand in these types of situations and in providing the services.
No, I understand that you handle more than 200 cases, mental health cases, just alone every year. So I know your office is pretty busy considering those issues. Now, if a family member has a problem, where would they contact you or your office? What do they do?
They can go straight to my office downtown. It's Suite 301. We're at 1110 Washington Street, Suite 301, upstairs in the Billy Hall Administration Building. Or they can contact us to set up an appointment, 956-523-4044. That's to schedule an appointment. We do need them to go in and fill out the paperwork and do that.
But everything gets done pretty quickly. Basically, as I understand the law, it has to be done within a certain period of time, including the 14-day period for probable cause and things
Definitely,
like that.
yes. So if the doctor does find that, then yes, then there's other procedures that come into play, and we have to do more paperwork.
So when they're sent to a mental health facility, they are provided with medical care?
Yes, sir. They're provided with all care, treatment.
Like if it's a regular hospital and so on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they can get help there. So they start first with the initial thing, then is to go to the county attorney's office, make the application, talk to one of the professionals who then begins the process of setting everything up. Is there a fee for that?
No fee.
Okay, so now I understand though that the ward does get a lawyer.
Yes, they do. Obviously, I mean their rights need to be protected and make sure that that their rights are not being violated.
But then you're representing the interests of the state, really representing the interests of the family that filed the application. Pretty much.
The state, the family, and the community.
Right, and then I because of my experience, I tell you this: it's very important for people to know where to file because. Unfortunately, in Laredo, just like anywhere else, there's a big number of people who have mental health issues, and they go through the issues of depression, or they can become suicidal, or so they become addicted to drugs and things like that. So there's certainly a lot of issues there, all complicating this whole matter of mental health, and so you have to deal with it.
Yes.
So it lands on somebody in the county, and that you're the one.
Yes, and obviously it's like you said, there's a lot that goes into it, and
Right.
and so, but no, we're happy. It's something that this
That has
community
to be done,
needs.
right.
Yes, this community needs, and we need more.
Right.
We need more.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, it's limited, but we're doing the best we
Yeah.
can, and we do need more.
Well, on another topic, and that's the issue of juvenile crime, because that's also one of your major duties, I guess, to handle, at least based on what I understand. Could you tell us a little bit about juvenile crime in Laredo, where we are at this point? Is it always every year that we do have juvenile crime, and things happen?
Like anything else, it exists. Crime exists, whether it's adults or juveniles. Juveniles, yes, it exists. I mean, it goes in waves.
It goes in waves, exactly.
They're different problems now that these kids are faced with. And actually, that's really what kind of tugged at me to run for this position to begin with, was the youth.
Right.
That's what hits at my heart. I have my kids that are growing. We all have kids, and it's our future.
And they have a lot of issues that are affecting them.
From social media to, we have vaping issues, we have school threats issues, we have all this doesn't even touch on the school problem, going to school, studying, learning, having to do all that, relationship issues, and then having to deal with all this other stuff. So
exactly.
they're dealing with a lot, but it's just different problems, not necessarily something that's kind of gotten out of control.
Well, let me ask you then, juveniles, we're talking about people between the ages of 10 and 17, under 17.
Correct, 10 and 16, 17 then would be considered
right, 17. So, and adults go from 17, so as soon as they're 17 years old, they go to the big jail over here at the Webb County Jail.
Correct.
Now, you have the Juvenile Youth Village.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My question relates to the issues of how you handle them, because I know that Sheila Laniz, the district attorney, his job is to do justice and to punish those who are violating the law, and to provide some type of programs of some type.
Right.
What is it with the juveniles that is different from the adults?
Well, under the law, adults, the law provides more for a punishment aspect when we're dealing with adults as a prosecutor. When we're dealing with kids, the law requires more of a rehabilitative approach as opposed to a punishment approach. So that to me is kind of what we take. I've taken that, and as well as punishment, obviously there's consequences for each decision we make, but we don't just stop there. It's about, okay, there's consequences and we'll deal with that, but we really want to know what's going on with this individual, with this child, this kid. What problems are they having? It's something outside of here that's causing them to behave this way or to do these things. And so we want to get to the root of the problem. Is it a drug issue? Is it something outside of the school? Home life issue?
But you don't have to do that. I mean, in terms of the Webb County Juvenile Department helps you get you some of those answers.
That is true. But at the same time, when we're reviewing a case and deciding how to proceed with it,
exactly.
Those are things that I have my attorneys consider.
Now, you don't give somebody 30 years for as a juvenile.
No.
So you're talking then about the Texas Youth Commission.
Correct.
On the far end.
Right.
Okay.
That is correct. Most of it is working with the kids and rehabilitating and try to get them back on the right path, which is 90, 95,
the majority
99.
of the kids they straighten out, and unfortunately, but we still have quite a few cases, I would imagine.
Yes, we do. Yes, and those are the ones that we kind of try to focus on more, try to limit it, and then you just have situations where it's just impossible. And those are the ones that we certify, and
Exactly, but of course. There's two different ways you can, other than prosecuting them, the other way is just educating them. Is there anything that the county attorney's office is doing to try to educate some of these young people, or are you working with other agencies to try to get them to understand the importance of not vaping, the importance of not drinking, the importance of not doing drugs and things like that? Do you work with other agencies?
Definitely. That's a big part of what we do, is working very closely with both school districts, even the private school districts, the charter schools. We work with everybody. With the parents, we go and speak to the parents as well. We do parent summits. We've established task force, especially for vaping. It's something that's becoming very, very problematic here.
Right.
And so we've established a task force for that. So we do work with all these. We work with all the social organizations.
Right.
That anybody that has a hand with working with the youth or the families, we work directly with them.
Now, if I have a son or daughter under the age of 17 years old who has a problem, a juvenile problem, obviously, I don't necessarily go with you. I go with the juvenile department. Is that right? To try to get some attention or some help?
Yes,
or
I mean,
Miller or some other agency.
definitely. But our doors are always open.
Right.
That's
And
one
then-
thing I always was accessibility. That was one thing I ran on, accessibility, accountability. So we're there if somebody
you
wants to
have a
reach out to, we'll help them. We can maybe guide them in the right
Guide 'em to the right
direction.
direction.
But all these agencies are available
Right.
to provide that
Now,
help.
since you're running for re-election, where do you see yourself or your office going the next 4 years, or what exactly do you want to tell the voters about where you're heading and what you want to do for the next 4 years?
We want to continue working hard for the voters. I think we've shown that we've been working hard for the last 11, going on 12 years. That bringing this office into the community, that was a big thing for me. And nobody knew what this office did. When I took office, nobody knew what the county attorney's office did, and this is a public office. So I wanted to change that, bring this office into the community, let the community know what we're here for, what we deal with. So that way, if they have issues, they can contact us. That's what we're here for. Aggressively addressing the juveniles and the issues that they're facing on a daily basis. Those are the things that I ran on initially, and I think we've done a good job. We're doing a good job, but there's still more work to do.
Yes,
That's
there's always a new generation.
exactly.
that you need to
Like I
educate.
mentioned earlier, they're facing a whole new slew of problems that didn't exist 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
And so I partner with federal agencies. We work very closely with the federal agencies. I have investigators assigned to the task force because these individuals are also looking to attract our kids, our youth, into human trafficking cases, into narcotics trafficking cases, from crossing them and housing them at the stash houses, moving them even further north. These kids are not just being used. No, these kids are in the supervisory roles. And so,
In our time, it used to be, well, not my time, but certainly in the last 20 years, they would use a lot of those kids for the purpose of driving vehicles that were stolen into Mexico. But now they're using kids to smuggle the kids, other kids back into the U.S. now.
they've climbed those ranks. Like I said, now they're in supervisory roles, not just a soldier doing something. No, now they're in supervisory roles, and so. We have to have our ears and eyes on the ground and know what's going on, so that way we can then turn around and apply it. I don't want to be reactive. We try to be proactive. We go into the schools. We educate. A lot of education. Schools are calling us. Hey, we need to come and present on school threats, on social media issues, on dating relationships. I work. We've created a teen domestic violence conference yearly now. We're going on 11, 12 years, and it's grown. So we're attacking it from all angles, educating the parents, educating the kids.
And every year you have to do it because there's always a new generation of families coming out. Now, where can people find you? A voter wants to ask you specific questions. Where can they find you?
I'm here to answer any questions. I'm always available. If they have questions.
Do you have a headquarters
definitely.
or a phone number they can, or do they reach you out at Facebook?
Right now, you can reach us through our social media sites: Facebook, Instagram. You can contact us. I believe the campaign phone line is 956-999-1909, or you can reach out directly to me. So reach out. Obviously,
And
any
if you
help.
want to volunteer in the campaign,
Volunteers, they have questions, they can communicate it through there,
Great.
and I'll be happy to speak with them and answer any questions.
well, I appreciate you making it. I look forward to seeing you again. We'll be here every week. Hopefully, you can get a few minutes out of your time to come and spend and talk to the public. Maybe we'll have some questions next time around from the public directly, and we can get them answered here. If they want more information, they can contact you on your own Facebook page.
Correct,
The
yes.
campaign.
The
Now, of
campaign,
course, if they have more serious issues about mental health issues or juvenile crime issues, they contact, what's the number there?
It's the Webb County Attorney's Office. It's 956-523-4044 for any help regarding any of those services, definitely.
Well, thank you for being here. I
Thank you
appreciate
for having me.
Well, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I want to thank you, the public, for taking a few minutes to talk to one of the candidates running for the Webb County Attorney's Office. He's been there for the last 11 years, and he's looking forward to talking to all of you. If you have any questions, feel free to call him on Facebook or reach out to him whenever you see him on the streets. I would imagine he's willing to answer some of those questions as well. And I want to thank you for watching this podcast. I remind you to please check our Facebook page continuously. We'll be doing some more of these one-on-one interviews with candidates. And of course, you can check us out on YouTube, and of course, try to like it as well. I would really appreciate it, so that way the people down the road will know that people are watching as well. So on behalf of 24/7 Laredo and Laredo Border Chronicles, thank you. Until next Thursday.